All right, you're here at Small Claims Court. This is Judge Middleton. I preside over the civil cases, or most of them here in St. Joseph County. This is the Small Claims Division of 3B District Court. Claim is limited to $7,000 in small claims, and that's how much the plaintiff is sued for in this case. Neither party is allowed to have an attorney in small claims court. There is no formal record being made in small claims court. There is no appeal in small claims court. Any ruling here is final. Either party has the right to remove the matter from the small claims division to the general division of the court, but you have to tell me that before we start. In the general division, you'd have a right to have a lawyer, you'd have a right to appeal, a right to record, but it's much more involved. The rules of evidence and procedure more strictly apply than they do in small claims court. Ms. Weinberg, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder, are you ready to proceed? I'm having trouble hearing you, Mr. Snyder. You're not on mute, but I think it has to do with your earbuds or something.
I put them in. Is that better?
All right, now that you have both of them in, I can hear you. All right,
sorry.
Ms. Weinberg claims that you owe her $7,000 for what she says was a loan to get some repair to your vehicle. You responded, Zachary. I'll just read his response. This was repayment for me helping Shelby with her mortgage totaling over $6,000. See attached. I've also helped Shelby with her gas to get to work on her house, including a new roof, new laundry room, other miscellaneous handyman work. I was being reimbursed for my work by the transmission for my truck. I originally used that money to help Shelby with her mortgage. Once she got a full-time job, the loan was the only way she could afford to pay me back. I've also supplied Shelby with a vehicle and helped her with insurance during that time. So we get these. We had two of these earlier today in landlord-tenant court. The two of you were in a relationship. I'll start with you, Shelby. How long were you together?
A little over 4 years.
And when did that relationship end?
August of 25.
And you live in Sturgis and he lives in Centerville, is that correct? Is that correct, Shelby?
Yeah. Oh.
I think your camera's frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yes, your camera's frozen, but I can hear you. All right, why do you believe he owes you $7,000?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Why do you believe he owes you $7,000?
Because May 22nd of 2025, I took out a loan, a personal loan, $8,035.23 was the total that went towards Zach's truck. Part of KS Auto, part of it went to Bolin Tire. During the time that this loan was taken out, I didn't have a loan. And with me borrowing the car that he allowed me to drive, he had multiple repossession notices on that vehicle. That was also in his name too, though. So I wanted my own vehicle. And I really didn't want to get this loan because I knew I couldn't afford it, but I was talked into it anyways.
All right, did he sign a contract or anything that said he was going to repay this?
No, it was a verbal agreement. And then with the roofing, all of that was done in 2024. That was before the loan was even taken out. And I purchased all the material myself. Zach just did the labor. But that's not even completed. And then with laundry room, that's not completed either.
All right, this is a matter of difficulty. You did clearly borrow the money and give it to him, which probably
Yeah,
wasn't a wise thing to do. Now, sometime after this, you got charged with assaulting his son, and did that end your relationship?
no,
All right, but you broke up after that happened?
It
after that
once
happened.
once she actually started going to trial for that is when our relationship ended, yes.
All right.
But
So
we've
she
been
gives,
living separated since 2024.
all right, so you're not living together. She gives you $8,000. And I mean, and she's suing for 7,000. Now you say, well, I did all this stuff. Did you have a contract with her that she was gonna pay you for doing a roof and she was gonna pay you for doing a uncompleted job on her laundry room and you were gonna give her a car that got repossessed and pay for insurance? Was there any sort of agreement that she would repay you for that?
Okay, as far as the repos on the car goes, that didn't happen until this year, like 6 months after I got the car back from her and she had already had her new car. So that's kind of null and void and doesn't
Okay,
play subject to this situation. And then as far as the roof and the back room go, no, we didn't have contracts to pay or whatever. That was just in context for like no matter what, we usually work together pretty well, and I always try to help her in any way that I can. And the only reason things aren't finished that are not finished is because of how toxic the relationship gets, and then we start fighting. Kids start getting kept from me, and it just becomes a very toxic thing. So I'm not going to go over there and work on her house while my daughters are being kept from me or whatever. I'm not
all
going
right,
to do that.
you have children together?
One biologically together, and then I've also, up until she recently stopped her from being able to come to my house, I was helping raise and take care of one of her other daughters as well, who doesn't have a biological father in the picture.
I call these a small claims divorce. You weren't married, you have a child together, you each have at least one other child, you're all living together in the same household as a family, but you weren't married. So you've been separated for a couple of years and apart since last August. So as during that relationship, she borrows a lot of money from the bank and fixes your car. And she's
Well,
stuck with the bill. And you say, well, what about all the stuff I did for you? Which is where the small claims divorce part comes in.
I do have some paperwork proof on dollar amounts from August 1st of 2024 to, well, actually, I didn't even include August in here. So just from September, from when we originally separated into separate houses, September 1st of 24 to March of 25, where I had paid her mortgage, I have all the receipts totaling $6,576. And then I also have from August 1st of last year until I stopped
All
giving
right,
her money,
all
June
right, well, let me
1st,
stop you
where
right here. So you moved out in September and you paid the mortgage until March and you weren't living in the
where
house.
this loan came about because she only was working part-time originally and I was getting reimbursed for my transmission. So on top of getting my own house, I had a little extra money and I was like, well, I can help you till you get she was looking for a full-time job that paid better, that she got in to keep my smile. And once she got established there and she knew she could afford that loan because I had provided the car at that time. So she could afford the loan payment to get my truck fixed like that money was initially meant for. And then that's all this became a big deal once she got that car and she couldn't afford the car and the loan at the same time, which was on like August 19th of last year. But
So this was somehow understood that this loan was to reimburse you for making your house payment for 8 months.
yes, and for helping her get herself situated and on a budget. And then I have a bank transactions from August 1st of last year till June 19th of this year, where I have sent Shelby $4,237.69, which a lot of it is loan payments, because once she got that car payment and could not afford the loan, if I had the extra money, I always helped. I mean, we have a kid together. She is the mother of my child. So I was giving her money for the loan payments after she got that car payment, until my checks got down to $500. And that's when the beginning of this year, when my checks started getting short, and that's when the repost stuff started happening, when she had already had her car and whatnot. And then I still continued to try to help her as much as I possibly could, $20, $30 here for gas, whatever,
All right, so
until I
you
couldn't
paid-
anymore.
Well, you paid the mortgage for months, been $6,700. Now, you're not married.
6,576.
6,576. You have a child together, so there would be a child support obligation if there were a child support order.
Which I do pay also.
So you also have a child support order?
Yeah, I'm a nice person and I help as much as I can. It just got to a point where I can't help no more.
You have a child support order for your
Yep.
child?
Yes.
And then this other money is over and above the child support?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may.
Just a minute, I'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
So you keep sending her this money each month up until June of this year, and theoretically, that money was to pay on the loan that she took to give you the money?
To help her in any way, because she was struggling and I had enough money extra that I could help her. But now my checks are to a point where I can't help her, because now I'm getting repos. So I have to worry about my own stuff before I can help give her extra money.
All right. Ms. Weinberg, you want to respond?
Yeah. I have also returned the favor by buying him food for his house when his power went out for a week at a time. I've given him money at random, never asked for it back. And then the truck that this loan was originally for, Zach has sold it. He no longer has it. And none of that money even went towards the loan.
All right. This is a divorce without being a divorce. You don't sustain your claim, Ms. Weinberg. You don't have any written agreement that he agrees to repay this debt. It's clear that you gave him the money. It's also clear that he gave you a similar or additional amount. He paid $6,700 of your mortgage payments for a house that he wasn't living in. He paid his child support, and then he gave you an additional $4,269 and other financial support. So there is no contract, there is no agreement, there is no meeting of the minds, and I found that you haven't sustained your claim. You're stuck with each other because you have a child together, but I'm ordering 0. So there's no written contract. You gave him money, he gave you money, and none of it is completely clear. So you took the loan out in your name, which probably was not wise, as you indicated. He used it to fix his truck, and instead of using his money to fix his truck, he made $6,500 worth of payments on your house. So you get none. I'm sorry, but that's my ruling. And we'll be in recess. Mr. Snyder, you're good to go. All right, the clerk will doctor up this order that just shows 0, but after trial. Damages 0, cost 0. All right, that's a harsh verdict for her, but I don't believe there's a legal binding contract to repay that debt. All right, we will close out the live stream, close out the record, turn off the cameras.